The secret to getting everything, just let go. There's a moment in life, sometimes quiet, sometimes violent, when we realize that all our effort, all our striving, all our clenching and grasping isn't working. Maybe we've followed the rules, played the game, hustled harder than anyone else, and still feel like something is missing. Or maybe we've chased love, money, status, peace, and it always seems just out of reach. So we double down, we grip tighter, we plan more, push more, think more. But ironically, the more we chase, the more what we want runs from us. Now here's where it gets weird, almost mystical. What if the secret to getting everything you want is just to let go? Yeah, I know on the surface, that sounds like the worst, most passive advice ever. Let go? Are you kidding? Let go of what? My goals? My dreams? My ambition? Isn't that giving up? But stay with me, because this isn't about giving up. It's about giving in to something deeper, wiser and more powerful than control. What if letting go isn't weakness, but the ultimate form of strength? What if it's not a retreat, but a return?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Let's start by unpacking why we hold on so tightly in the first place. At the root of almost every desire is fear. We want money to feel safe, love to feel worthy, success to feel like we matter. But when fear drives desire, grasping becomes our strategy. We try to force outcomes, manipulate timing, control people, and obsess over results. But here's the problem. Fear-based effort creates tension, and tension blocks flow. It's like trying to catch water with a clenched fist. The tighter you grip, the less you hold. And this isn't just poetic, it's observable in your actual life. Think about the last time you really wanted something, maybe a response from someone, a breakthrough, a decision to go your way. You probably overthought it, overacted, overcommitted, and ended up with exhaustion, anxiety, or disappointment. But think about a time when you let go, when you surrendered, stopped forcing, and then, almost magically, what you wanted showed up. Not because you were passive, but because you were aligned. That's the paradox. Letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right thing without resistance. It means acting without attachment. It means trusting that life is not a machine to be controlled, but a river to be flowed with. The ancient Taoists understood this. They called it wu-wei, effortless action. The idea that the most impactful moves come not from striving, but from harmony, from letting go of ego and tuning in to the greater rhythm of life. Now, before this all starts sounding too abstract, let's ground it in something real. Imagine you're texting someone you like. You send a message, no reply. What happens next? Your mind freaks out. Did I say something wrong? Should I double text? Are they ignoring me? That spiral is the opposite of letting go. It's attachment, it's fear. But what's the alternative? You send the message, and then you let it go. You trust that if it's meant for you, it will return, that your value isn't defined by a reply. And ironically, that energy of non-neediness is the very thing that makes people come back, because it's magnetic, it's confident, it's detached, it's irresistible. Letting go is not about not caring. It's about caring deeply without clinging. It's about being open to what life brings without demanding that it look exactly like your plan. Because here's the truth, your plan isn't the truth. It's a guess, a best attempt, but life is bigger than your scripts. And when you let go, you allow space for something better to emerge, something you couldn't predict, but that fits you more perfectly than anything you could have forced into place. So I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to sit with it. What are you holding on to so tightly right now that it's actually pushing the thing away? Is it someone's love? A job? An idea of who you think you should be? What if, just for a moment, you loosened your grip? Not as a trick to get it faster, but as an act of trust. What if you stopped chasing and simply started allowing? Because letting go doesn't mean losing. It means making room for the real, for the aligned, for the unexpected beauty that only arrives when your fists are open and your heart is soft. That's not giving up. That's waking up. The illusion of control, why surrender is the most strategic move you can make. Let's get brutally honest. Most of us live under the illusion that we're in control. We plan, we schedule, we optimize, we hustle. We think that if we just work hard enough, think smart enough, and anticipate every possibility, we can bend life to our will. But deep down, we know that's not entirely true, because life is unpredictable. People change, markets shift, accidents happen, emotions rise and fall, and no amount of control guarantees the outcome we want. Still, we keep clinging to control like a safety blanket. Why? Because uncertainty terrifies us. And when we're scared, control feels like protection. But here's the twist. Control isn't protection, it's a prison. It keeps you locked in your head, disconnected from flow, always one step behind reality. But when you try to control everything, you stop trusting anything. You live in constant tension, always bracing for what might go wrong. And ironically, that fear-based control creates the very problems you're trying to avoid. You micromanage your partner and strain the relationship. But you obsess over your business and miss the creative spark. You try to plan your life to perfection and end up missing the magic that only chaos can bring. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine moving through life with a sense of openness. Imagine trusting that even if things don't go exactly as planned, they can still unfold beautifully. Imagine releasing the death grip on outcomes and focusing instead on your alignment, your energy, your intention. That's surrender. And it's not weakness. It's not passivity. It's not laziness. It's the most strategic move you can make because it puts you in alignment with reality instead of at war with it. Surrender is not doing nothing. It's doing what you can from a place of grounded clarity and then letting go of the rest. It's showing up fully, but not forcing. It's taking action, but not demanding a specific result. It's planting seeds and allowing nature to grow them in its own time. And that shift from control to surrender changes your entire experience of life. Suddenly, you're not fighting every wave. You're learning to surf. There's a reason every spiritual tradition, from Stoicism to Buddhism to Christianity, talks about surrender. Because it's the only doorway to peace. The Stoics said, control what you can, accept what you can't. The Buddhists said, attachment is the root of suffering. Jesus said, not my will, but yours be done. These aren't just moral teachings. They're strategic insights into how reality works. When you let go of your need to control, You stop resisting life. You start partnering with it. Think about your own life. When have things worked out best for you? Was it when you forced them, manipulated everything, and obsessed over timing? Or was it when you finally let go, trusted the process, and stayed present? The truth is, life often gives us what we want after we stop needing it so desperately. Because in that moment of surrender, we're no longer vibrating in fear, we're vibrating in trust. And trust is the frequency that attracts miracles. So here's a deep question. What are you trying to control right now that you know, deep down, is out of your hands? Is it someone's feelings? Your future? The outcome of something uncertain? What would happen if you stopped gripping so tightly? What if, instead of controlling, you collaborated with life? What if you surrendered not as a sign of defeat, but as a sign of intelligence? Because here's the paradox. When you surrender, you don't lose power, you gain it. You stop wasting energy on things you can't change and start channeling it into what you can. You become lighter, clearer, more creative. And that shift doesn't just change your emotional state, it changes your results. You stop chasing and start receiving. The reversal principle, why detachment attracts everything you thought you had to chase. There's an ancient, almost mystical pattern that shows up across philosophy, spirituality, psychology, and even art. It's the reversal principle, the idea that when you stop chasing something, it begins to come toward you. When you no longer need something, you become a magnet for it. And when you finally let go of your desperate grasp, life responds with unexpected generosity. This isn't just poetic, it's practical. And if you pay attention, you'll start to see it everywhere. Think about relationships. How many times have you seen someone push and plead and perform, trying to earn someone's love and end up being ignored? But the moment they step back, focus on themselves and let go of the outcome, suddenly the other person takes notice. Or think about success. The person obsessed with money, constantly stressed, always hustling without rest, often finds it slipping through their fingers. Meanwhile, someone else, focused on purpose, creativity, and alignment, seems to attract abundance without strain. This isn't coincidence, it's energetic alignment. It's detachment in action. Detachment gets misunderstood all the time. People think it means not caring or giving up or being cold. But detachment isn't about absence of desire, it's about absence of dependence. You can desire deeply, love passionately, and dream boldly and still be detached. Because detachment isn't about what you feel. It's about what you cling to. It's the difference between holding something lovingly in your hands and gripping it so tightly you crush it. So why does detachment work? Because it shifts your frequency. When you're attached, you're in a state of lack. You're saying, I need this to feel okay. That energy repels what you want because it's rooted in fear. But when you're detached, you're in a state of wholeness. You're saying, I want this, but I don't need it to be complete. That energy attracts because it radiates confidence, trust, and inner security. Let's go deeper. Think of your life like a field of gravity. Every thought, emotion, and action emits a frequency. When you're desperate, your field contracts. When you're detached, your field expands. People, opportunities, and experiences are drawn to expansion. That's why the most magnetic people are the ones who seem to be fine either way. They'd love for things to go well, but they're not crushed if they don't. That calm detachment creates space for miracles. Now, here's the part that really flips the script. The more detached you are from the outcome, the more power you have over it. Because you're no longer operating from panic, you're operating from clarity. You make better decisions. You pick up on subtler signals. You stop sabotaging yourself. You act from alignment, not anxiety. And the universe responds in kind. This principle shows up in every domain. In dating, the person who feels whole and happy on their own is infinitely more attractive than the one who's needy or clingy. In business, the entrepreneur who's creating from passion, not desperation, builds something sustainable. In creativity, the artist who lets go of perfection and just creates is the one who produces real magic. Ask yourself, what are you chasing so hard right now that it's actually starting to run from you? And what if you didn't have to chase it at all? What if you focused on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts it by being aligned, grounded, fulfilled, and whole? Because here's the deep truth, everything you think you need is already on its way to you. But it can't land in a space that's filled with fear, force, or frantic energy. It needs room, and detachment creates that room. It tells life, I'm ready, and I trust. And life, in its strange and beautiful way, responds. So the next time you find yourself clenching, obsessing, or overthinking, pause. Breathe. Let go. Not because you're giving up, but because you're stepping into the flow. And in that flow, you don't chase what's yours. It finds you. The final paradox, why letting go is the ultimate act of creation. Here's the twist that most of us never see coming. Letting go is not the end of effort, it's the beginning of true creation. We think that to make something happen, we have to force it, obsess over it, cling to it. But in doing that, we're not creating, we're controlling. And control, as we've already seen, is fear in disguise. Creation, real creation, doesn't come from fear. It comes from freedom. And freedom begins the moment we stop trying to dominate reality and instead co-create with it. When you let go, you don't stop caring, you start caring differently. You stop caring about how things should look and start caring about how they feel. You stop needing to control the outcome and start aligning with the process. That's where the magic lives, not in the tight grip of expectation, but in the open palm of trust. Because when you release the outcome, you allow life to surprise you. And the surprise is often better than the script you were clinging to. Letting go makes space. And in that space, new ideas arise. New insights, unexpected opportunities, relationships you weren't even looking for, solutions you could never have planned. But this only happens when you're not too busy forcing what you think should happen. The tree doesn't grow because you pull on its branches. It grows because you trust the soil, the sun, the rain, and you simply tend to it. Letting go is trusting the soil of your life. Think of the most profound moments in your life. Were they the ones you orchestrated perfectly? Or were they the ones that emerged unexpectedly when you surrendered to the moment? Falling in love, a sudden breakthrough, a life-changing realization. These didn't arrive because of control. They arrived because you were present enough to receive them. And you can't be truly present if you're clinging to the past or obsessing over the future. So here's the ultimate paradox. You create most powerfully when you're willing to let go of what you're creating. You influence most deeply when you're unattached to the outcome. You receive most fully when you stop needing. Because letting go isn't passive, it's an act of active trust. It's saying, I've shown up fully. I've done what's mine to do. And now I surrender the rest. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Let me leave you with this one final question, one that could change your life if you really sit with it. What would happen if you stopped trying to make life love you and started trusting that it already does? What would happen if you stopped chasing and started allowing? If you stopped gripping and started flowing? Because maybe, just maybe, the secret to getting everything is knowing you don't need anything to begin with. You're already enough. Life is already moving. And when you let go, you don't fall, you rise.